Every so often, a piece of tech drops that doesn't just make a splash, it creates a total tidal wave. And that is exactly what happened when Google released its new AI model, Gemma 4. The official announcement was all polished and corporate, but the internet's reaction, it was immediate, it was chaotic, and it was absolutely massive. Okay, let's dive into what happened. So, how big of a reaction are we talking about? Just look at this number. 1.2 million. That's how many people watched a single video about Gemma 4 in just its first week. This wasn't some slow burn. It was a flat-out explosion. It pulled in everyone from hardcore developers to just people curious about tech, and they were all asking the same thing. What is this? And believe me, the reactions were not subtle. You had videos with headlines like this one, making this incredibly bold claim. Google just destroyed all open source models. Whoa, that is a huge statement, and it really sets up the central mystery we're unpacking here. What did Google release that caused this kind of powerful and honestly super divisive reaction? To really get the chaos, we have to start with the official story. Before the internet got its hands on it and went wild, what did Google say Gemma 4 was? This is the baseline, the clean corporate vision for their new creation. What's really telling here is the language Google chose to use. They called Gemma 4 their most intelligent open models to date. Okay, fine. But the key phrase is intelligence per parameter. So what does that even mean? Well, in plain English, they're saying this isn't about building the biggest AI, it's about building the smartest, most efficient one for its size. Think lean and mean. So Google's goal was to build an AI that could do advanced reasoning and handle agentic workflows, which is basically just a fancy way of saying an AI that can think through tough problems and then actually do things. But the real kicker, the one detail that would absolutely set the internet on fire, was their claim that it could run on pretty much everything, from giant servers all the way down to your personal laptop or even your phone. All right, so that's the official story. Now let's get to the fun part. What happened when this thing actually hit the internet? We're shifting from a clean, corporate press release to the wild, passionate, and sometimes messy reactions from the online community. And that reaction pretty much split right down the middle into two camps: overwhelming hype and some sharp-eyed skepticism. First, let's ride the hype train because, man, it left the station fast. Creators immediately started making these massive, bold claims about how Gemma 4 was a total game changer. And here it is, the title from that video with 1.2 million views. I just love the phrase casually disrupted. It's perfect. The creator, Fireship, totally nailed the feeling that Google had just almost effortlessly changed the entire conversation around open source AI. Then you've got this title. This gets right to the heart of why so many people were freaking out. It's not just about the tech. It's about making it accessible. It's about the cost. And that promise of free forever, well, that's incredibly powerful. And of course, you knew this was coming. The hype quickly turned to competition. You started seeing titles just like this one, framing Gemma 4 as a free GPT-4o killer, a direct shot at the biggest names in the game. The battle lines were being drawn. But look, this wasn't just a bunch of talk. The hype was followed up by immediate action. The community didn't just sit around and make videos. They rolled up their sleeves and started putting Gemma 4 to work. This is the moment we shift from just ideas to actual hands-on use. And it all boils down to this really powerful promise of local AI, a phrase you started seeing everywhere. It's a simple idea, but kind of revolutionary. First, you can run powerful AI right on your own machine, locally for free. That means more privacy, more control for you. Second, you can use it right on your computer, not through some website. And third, and this is a huge one for developers, you could potentially avoid those super expensive API costs. That's a major barrier to entry for so many people. Just spawn. But hey, this is the internet. With this much hype, a counter-reaction was basically inevitable. People started asking questions, digging into the fine print, and all wondering the same thing. Okay, what's the catch? Not everyone was buying the picture-perfect vision of free, powerful AI for everybody. And some of the reactions were incredibly direct. This title, from a video that got over 50,000 views, does not mince words. It's a straight-up accusation, and it perfectly represents that growing skepticism. That feeling that maybe Google's gift wasn't quite as simple as it looked. This slide really just captures that tension perfectly. On one side, you've got the incredible promise, free, powerful AI on your own machine. But on the other, you have that nagging feeling summed up in so many video titles. But there's a catch. The whole debate really started to center on the word open. Is something truly open if Google still controls the core tech and can basically change the rules whenever it wants? So, we've got the corporate announcement, the massive hype, and the skeptical backlash. What do we do with all this? How do we make any sense out of the chaos? Well, this is where we have to take a step back and try to find the real story underneath all the noise. Because when you filter it all out, this is the big takeaway. No matter what side you're on, whether you buy the hype or the skepticism, the release of Gemma 4 and the wild reaction to it has massively accelerated this trend of local AI, these incredibly powerful models that don't need a giant data center to run. And this matters for 4 huge reasons. 1, accessibility. Powerful AI is no longer just a tool for big companies. 2, innovation. The community is now rapidly experimenting and building all sorts of new stuff. 3, control. You, the user, get more privacy and control by running models on your own machine. And 4, cost. This has the potential to completely change the economics of building with AI by getting rid of those API fees. So we're left with this really fundamental question that this whole story has been building towards. The technology to run powerful AI on our own machines, it's here, it's real. But does this mean we're entering a new era where AI becomes a truly personal tool that we all control? Or are we just becoming enthusiastic, unpaid beta testers for the next generation of products from the same big tech giants? That right there is the real story to watch.